Well, ever since I was a kid, I was like, okay, I get a train set. Okay, if I train, oh, that's cute. But let's see what makes this work. And I always tore things apart. I mean, I just ruined so many things. I just can't, it's just like, I was always like that. And I'm not, never was, and still am not a real spiritual person. I don't follow any set of beliefs or anybody or anything like that. I always walk my own path. And when this strange stuff started happening to me, I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I want to understand this. There's my ego. I'm like, I want to understand this. Let's take this apart. And then I started trying to find out, what I was doing by looking into, like, the human body operates generally like between 5 and 30 hertz, and that's in the subtle energy range, which is 5 to 100 hertz. And so I started researching stuff about subtle energies, and then I found this guy doing the tapping stuff, EFT, and I kind of realized what he was doing and stuff like that. And I found faster EFT, and blah 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 blah. And then I started studying about electrical aspects of the body, and some of these. I mean, there's cutting edge scientists out there that are studying like these subtle energies and electrical aspects of the body. And they've been out there. I mean, they've trodden the path before me, and they've facilitated by providing information to the public. I utilized all that, and I am a science-based guy. I'm not a woo-woo guy at all. And I was trying to understand it scientifically. I spent years and lots of money and time traveling around to scientific conferences to try to get scientists to explain something to me, like how this stuff was happening, what I was doing. And nobody, well, a lot of them thought I was just flat ass. I mean, that was crazy. But the ones that let me show them, I can show somebody in literally in seconds some of this stuff. And those guys are like, oh, what's going on here? I'm like, I'm asking you, what am I doing? What's happening here? And nobody could really come up with anything. And then I was at one conference, it's called the ESOM conference. I was dragged there by a friend that, his name was Jack Stuckey. And so, we're gonna wait for the phone to stop.
Nice music though.
Yeah. So Jack got me to go to ESOM, and at ESOM there was a guy there named Claude Swanson there, Dr. Claude Swanson. And Jack told him, hey, you gotta meet this Don Lynch and see what he's doing. And so Claude found me, and he said, hey, can you come to my room that night? And so I did, and I showed him some of the stuff that I was doing, and he was like, whoa. And I ended up spending like an hour and a half with Claude in his room and showed him some of the stuff. And he says, I don't really know what you're doing, but I think it has something to do with toroidal fields. And during my search for answers, I had run across toroidal fields. And so Claude told me that, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. But he says, I'm not sure, but you might be doing something with that. And so the next morning, I'm at Claude's presentation. He was one of the main speakers there. And so I'm surrounded by healers and practitioners of healing arts and doctors and scientists and all these people. And Claude starts talking about toroidal fields. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know a little bit about that. Okay, yeah, that. And then he put up a slide of a 510 structured toroidal knot. And spontaneously, I started crying, tears of joy, and felt this thing just kind of clicked in my head. And I went into a trance, and over here next to me was this spinning, activated 510 structured knot over here. And a voice came to me and said, you can speed that up. And then Claude finished his speech. I came out of it, and I'm totally disorientated. I go over there, and Jack Stuckey's up there talking to Claude at the podium. And Jack is a special individual. He knows about fractal beings and fractal energy, and his background is in frequencies and studying the frequencies of the brain and stuff. And I said, Jack, what do you see? And he looked over at me and he says, I see a fractal being standing right there, and he is laughing at you. I'm like, fantastic, you know. And so we had to go to lunch next. So I got to compose myself before I go to lunch. Well, there was a little vortex across the street from where the speech was. So I went over there and was trying to compose myself. And this is one of the weird experiences that I've had that kind of activated stuff in me. I'm standing there, I'm trying to get my pull everything down and just kind of chill out. And boom, right in front of me appears this fractal being. And he's got white curly hair and he's like an older guy and stuff like that. And he's laughing at me. And then he goes, "Oh," like that. And he's been with me ever since. And so my journey over the last 4 years, has been to try to understand this information that came to me that I was supposed to speed up 5-10 structured knots. And so